Homelessness is such a traumatic experience. And the people that we have the honor of serving need us as advocates. And when we can engage and interact around that veteran, in support of that veteran, some pretty magical things can happen.
Hey, it's Ken Berry, the peer specialist at the VA. Me being a veteran myself, went through homelessness. I can't hear you. And addiction, and was able to conquer that. And it motivates me to help other veterans and to get them through the process that I went through to get them in a better position in life, you know? And so that's what really motivates me to get up every day and work. How you doing, man?
Just kind of going into this couple days together, really want to encourage you all to be thinking about not only what you can do, but what you think you can't do and what would need to happen to fix that, because we want to hear that.
HUD and VA, as we kind of came out of COVID, started having discussions about the importance of meeting together in person. So we established these boot camps as a way to bring different regional partners together and break down barriers and give us feedback about what we can do to support them in program operations going forward.
We are looking at how to, what would actually help improve all that we're doing. So one is the universal application with the least amount of paperwork as possible. So now we know
HUD-VASH is a partnership between two big federal agencies, between HUD and VA, and it works with HUD's Housing Choice Voucher Program to provide housing choice vouchers as rental subsidies for homeless veterans. Unlike other Housing Choice Voucher programs in HUD, VA comes alongside those voucher holders and provides clinical services and support to those veterans to help them obtain housing and then sustain that housing over time.
Someone today could say, I don't want anything to do with you, but the power of 3 years down the line of being that someone who says, you may not want to work with me today, but if you need me tomorrow, I will be here. And so the power of showing up for people who have consistently had the door shut in their face, showing up for people who have experienced trauma through every part of their life. Maybe they had trauma before military, they experienced it in military, they experienced it outside of military, right? But what that person experiences is, despite me telling you I'm not interested, you've shown me that I can trust you because you're still there, right? You've continued to offer services.
The goal of these boot camps is ultimately to increase utilization of the HUD-VASH program so we can better use this incredibly valuable resource that we have towards ending veteran homelessness. In service of that, really building on the partnerships, making sure that the program is being used to its best ability, ensuring that veterans are getting into housing as efficiently as possible and remaining stably housed as long as possible. So a really critical component of that is the partnership that we are here to foster between the PHAs and the VA medical centers.
I was curious if there were some creative solutions that you all came up with, those who did kind of break through that, that you can share with others to potentially help, because I'm hearing that that's something that is a sticking point.
Getting our nurses, so maybe they don't need social work. We've historically had social workers be the lead on a case, and maybe they don't need social work, but they're more than happy to engage with our nurses. So just engaging those other.
These boot camps help us get out of our own ways. We don't want a veteran to suffer because we can't figure our process out. We want the veteran to succeed because we've had these conversations together, the landlords, the PHAs, the partners. We've had these conversations together. We've challenged one another in our assumptions of what works.
Our veterans in their late 60s or 60s, 70s, 80s, they're not going to be able to do these things. And I get it and I understand it, so we need to accommodate them. and what their needs are. Our younger vets?
I think there's a few ways that we hope that the boot camps will improve utilization overall. The first way, and the one that's kind of most obvious to folks, is increasing the process for getting veterans into housing. So we're talking a lot about flexibilities and efficiencies in the paperwork that veterans have to complete, processes for identifying veterans who are eligible for the program, and sort of shepherding them through the process and helping them find housing. That's a big part of voucher utilization overall. Another part of this is talking together about how we can ensure that those veterans that are in housing have all the supports and the resources they need to maintain that housing over time.
Noting yesterday that I think we're on the panel, I talked about...
Before coming here, I thought, we work really well with our housing authority, and I don't know that we need to come to a different city to sit at a table, because we already do that every week, right? The perspective I have now is being able to sit down with other areas, other housing authorities, other VAs, and hearing how they do it helps me see that there are other ways, right? It's hard to conceptualize if the way your partnership is working is how it compares, and if it's creative or innovative at all, until you talk to other people. We had a great conversation yesterday, sitting around the table, brainstorming how we can make things better in a very different way than we have done on our weekly calls.
I think we can all agree that having a place to sleep at night makes everything else easier. That's the basis of housing first. Doesn't matter what else is happening around you, we need to get you into housing first and then work on everything else. Being on top of all the processes and guidelines and the flexibilities that are allowed is very, very important, because it can mean the veteran searching or not being approved or waiting for a response back for longer. We always look back and remember, these veterans are experiencing homelessness. One more day on the street is one more day on the street.
How are you doing,
Mr. Johnson? How are you? It's good to see you.
Glad to have you back.
Thank you. Feeling okay today?
Doing all right.
Great.
That's the thing I like about HUD-VASH. There's so many things going on with them that it's so much more than you expect. I thought it was just housing, but it's much, much more than that. They actually look out for the individual vet, the individual person, and they try to get them on their feet and to get them going again. It makes you feel good as a person knowing that somebody out there cares about you enough to get you on your feet again.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about that. Years when my daughters were small, that's my oldest daughter, Jasmine and Jade. That's my grandson in the background. The outside of this place is pretty spectacular. I have a gym I can go to. I could computers I can go to, places I could take my family members if it's too small in here. So it all worked out. It went from where am I going to stay, who I'm going to stay with, to I'm well established now. And I owe that to the people that I work with, and I owe it to HUD-VASH.
In the past, a lot of veterans felt let down by the VA because of the lack of resources, but the HUD-VASH program have evolved so much over the years. There's so many resources available, and our goal is to help them reconnect and help them find hope again.
This is rewarding work to me. Like, you get to actually help a veteran from coming to you saying, I don't have anything, to be able to work with them and getting whatever documents they need to move into permanent housing. It's so rewarding when they get their keys and to sign their leases.
We have learned an incredible amount from the boot camp participants, and a lot of that comes directly from the veterans that are serving, the people with lived experience in the program. I don't think that information, those learnings can be understated, really centering the veteran and the veteran's need in that work. Together, as federal agencies, we're all dedicated to finding ways to fully utilize that resource that's been provided to us and entrusted to us. And that means reducing the barriers and making the services and the resources available meet the needs of the veterans in front of us.